attempt to kill them, she used the perfect poison. Assistant U.S. Attorney Ariane Vuno. Prologue. There are sections of landscape bordering the quaint New England town of Northampton, Massachusetts, as flat as a tabletop. Acres of farmland that, from a bird's-eye view, might make one think this small section of the Northeast is no different from Indiana or Kansas. And in many ways there is no difference. In May 1995, for example, the unimaginable happened. A tornado whipped through Great Barrington, Massachusetts, killing 3 people and injuring 24. With a top wind speed of 204 miles per hour, farming tractors were tossed into the air and willow trees pulled from the ground and snapped in half as if they were plastic toys in a child's train set collection. Farmers and townspeople, in a matter of moments, were left devastated. Twisters, locals protested, were supposed to be confined to the Midwest and Deep South. Northampton, like Great Barrington, is located on the edge of the Berkshires, in mountainous terrain, fenced in by steep, rocky cliffs. It is a quiet place, full of agricultural history and laid-back living. Nothing ever happens there of any national interest, and residents like it that way. From Interstate 91, the only hint that Northampton exists somewhere within the throng of massive pines, clapboarded homes, and small businesses is the steeple of the old clock tower, which pokes through the tops of the trees like the point of a witch's hat. On any given night, one can walk through downtown and see a wide variety of cultures mixing company. Passed on from generation to generation, Northampton, where Calvin Coolidge once sat in the mayor's chair, is rumored to be the lesbian capital of the nation. That distinction, however, is perhaps derived from the presence of Smith College, a prestigious liberal arts school for women. Surrounding downtown, and split into 3 neighborhoods, or villages, as the locals like to say, Leeds, Florence, and Bay State. Northampton fits every bit of the small-town USA image portrayed in many of nearby Stockbridge resident Norman Rockwell's paintings. There are old-fashioned ice cream parlors for the kids, cafes for the intellectuals, and diners for the blue-collar workers. Coffee houses, art museums, bookstores, and pubs line Main Street. Street musicians are everywhere, shaking tambourines, strumming guitars, banging on bongos, and tooting horns for tip money. Made up of roughly 30,000 residents, Northampton encompasses some 36 square miles, with approximately 170 miles of roadway intertwined through its thousands of raised ranches, colonials, and rustic farms. One could easily agree it is every bit of what writer Tracy Kidder calls, in his book Hometown, a quintessential landscape, classic New England all the way, from its rolling hills to its maple syrup to its antique shops. "Shake it," Kidder wrote, "and it snows." Visible from just about anywhere in town, the Veterans Affairs Medical Center, VAMC, in Leeds, has served the health needs of Massachusetts veterans since 1924. The main building of the hospital sits high atop Old Bear Hill, a rather steep stretch of land with a man-made duck pond at its base, perfect for sledding during winter months. Just off Route 9, the VAMC grounds rise out of the center of town like a monument, and to some extent the main building looks a bit like a Victorian mansion. There are 26 smaller red brick buildings, or cottages, that doctors rent, spread over 105 acres of some of the most sprawling landscape the Northeast has to offer. Perhaps deliberately, the entire compound resembles a military base rather than a full-facility hospital, where 6 miles of roadway snake around a piece of property that visitors, who often come here, say is but a small slice of God's country. On any given day, scores of vets stand and sit outside the main entrance, smoking cigarettes, drinking from brown paper bags, waiting for the VA bus to take them home. They wear tattered and torn camouflage army jackets, berets, and medals, and speak of their days in the war to anyone who will listen. The VAMC provides tertiary psychiatric and substance abuse services, as well as primary and secondary levels of medical care, to a veteran population of men and women in western Massachusetts of more than 85,000. With nearly 600,000 veterans statewide,